So I was directed to Themis and Thoughts, gay Killmonger. I was directed to one of his videos from 4 months ago and told to read through the comments. I could not stomach those comments. It was a show with Cynthia G and some other people on the panel. It's a 4 hour show. I'm not sitting here going to listen to the 4 hour show. I just did as I was instructed to, which was to read through the comments. And the comments are majority black women in the comment section. And I just posted two of the comments on my community tab. Actually, one of them was from a man. Uh, I'm pretty sure it was a man, but the comment was just like, talking about Cynthia G. And it's like she's out there, yet again advocating for the abortion of black boys. And this person just asked the question is like, why is it you can go so hard in the paint for the abortion of black boys? Why don't you go as hard in the paint when telling black women to be more selective with who they sleep with? Then we don't have to have that type of conversation. I guess the presumption is that the boy, that the who these women are sleeping with, those men are not going to be fathers to the boys, and then that's going to create problems, and black women are going to be blamed for it because they're basically shitty at being the single mothers of black boys, and then they get blamed for that. So abort the black boys, and then we don't have to deal with that problem, right? And there's so many issues just even with that concept, because first off, it's like, okay, abort the black boys. 5 minutes ago, black women were complaining about, because of Oprah, there's 2 million more black women than black men. So have black girls that will further have greater issues with finding a mate. Like, huh? Anyway, but, like, how I want to say, it's like, also reminds me of the abortion thing, where women are like, fighting for the right to have an abortion as opposed to fighting for, you know, the ability to be sexually responsible. Like, why do we have to get to the abortion part? Why don't you just use, protection, birth control, condoms, and then the women just want to be, it's like they just jump up and they throw up the "it takes two to tango." Yeah, but you have not only final say on which man gets sex, but I'm saying you have multiple forms of birth control that you can use on top of telling him, oh, I'm going to let you hit it, but you're not going to hit it unless you use a condom. Voila, simple, done. Oh no, but that's too hard. That's too misogynistic of me. Like, this is the retardedness that we're dealing with here. So the whole page just reeks of just completely, all these women just being completely unaccountable. I mean, it's just like, the accountability that runs through the black female community is like, if there was a cup, it's like spilling out of the cup. And after all this time on the internet, I'm blown away reading these comments. And I understand that some of these women are just coming of age and all that stuff, but like it's like their matriarchal mothers have taught them well, in the art of matriarchy and the art of no accountability. Like, they're over there, making the type of talking points, that so many women have made online, that we're being manipulated by these evil men, and they put a spell on us, and all this, talk about what about the community, and I don't disagree that the hoteps and shit like that do that, that the brothers that'll try to use like this sort of community shaming angle, but I'm like, the women do the same thing, right? You got black women running around, we don't care about where black men go. We don't care, we don't care, right? And then all these videos explode on freaking TikTok and Instagram and YouTube of all these clips of black women bitching, many of which are, these women are past their prime, and they're overweight and they don't look good, but they're up there bitching nonetheless about where these brothers are going, to the Philippines and passport bros and all this other shit. I'm like, I thought you didn't care. You know what I mean? The conversation, and not only shaming, like bashing the other women that can't speak English, they're not educated. You're just going over there to be a pedophile, and it's just so sad because you can't handle a strong black woman. All this crap, just all this crap. And I'm like, that shame bullshit. What about the community? All that shit. That shit goes in the same in both directions. You know what I mean? Whatever there's these women are saying that brothers are saying about what about the community? I'm like, that's no different than a black woman sitting there saying, "Your mama black." What is the difference? There's no difference. There's no difference. It's like people's like, trump card because they're trying to make people, feel bad about leaving, feel bad about Exodus or whatever. And I don't understand that. If at the end of the day, whether it's a black man or a black woman, you don't value the other black person. I was listening to Medium Man the other day, and he played a clip of this woman that was, I don't know, she was on like she was on, it was some whether it's a Clubhouse or some shit like that. And I mean, you know what I get so tired of? You know what is just exhausting? As a black man, I can accept white supremacy talking crazy about black people and going up there and misquoting statistics and just saying, just out of pocket shit. And you can challenge that shit, right? But I get so tired of having to fight that with my own women. Like, I get so tired of black women literally wanting to believe everything negative about black men. I don't go to white people for evidence of black women's bad behavior. Like, I deal with it. I see it. I interact with it, right? I don't go to them as the source, but like black women, they want to believe every fucking negative thing, about black men. I mean, just every fucking negative thing, and then they don't even realize like when they're contradicting, themselves, all the brothers are in jail, ain't nobody got their shit together, and then turn around and all the successful brothers are over there on the other side of the fence with Becky. Then turn around, talk about how, black women have been oppressed by the super powerful black men since the beginning of time, and then turn around and say black men don't have any power and they're weak, and then turn around and then say I can't find anybody on my level. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, and anyway, I was getting frustrated because I was just like, I do not get black women, seriously speaking. Like, I don't get them because they hate and despise black women, black men, and then at the same time not only think that they're better than us, but they think that they're supposed to be better than us, right? And so any approach to even addressing, like just trying to address the complaint one at a time, right? Black women will say, "Oh, black men, y'all don't have control of this and to have control of that, and y'all, that's why we ain't submitting to you." Okay, let me address that problem. Okay, so I'm thinking if I go out here, put some shit together, right? Black women's gonna, get with the program, submit whatever dirty word you want to use, right? But no. Then it turns into some for Harriet nappy-headed Hohobity noir shit. Then it turns into the, and black women are being oppressed because of the patriarchy, and black men, having power over black women, and we must encourage black girls to go out there and get their own shmoney and buy their own houses and have their own property. And I'm like, I thought you just got finished saying that the whole problem is there wasn't a patriarchy in the black community. Black men didn't have their shit together. They didn't control this and control that. Now you're arguing that the women need to go out there and they need to control this and control that to counter the evils of black men who, 5 minutes ago were never in the position, but now we have this legacy of always being in the position and always having our foot on black women's neck. I'm like, yo, you cannot win, yo. You cannot win. You know what I mean? You're the oppressor. You're the oppressor and the oppressed at the same time, right? You're powerful and you're weak as hell all at the same time, right? You know, you're out here, you got kids all over the planet at the same time you ain't getting no pussy. Like the shit is retarded. It's retarded. And that leads me to like my next point about, the fact that, even with the women complaining about the passport bros, these aren't even men that they want. You got fucking Michael B. Jordan of all people being told to his face that he's corny. And you got these women up there, bitching about passport bros and shit. Black women, like all women, only want like 20% of dudes. Black women are attracted to toxic black men. Whether you want to call it toxic masculinity. If a dude ain't a savage, I just had a dude tell me this shit the other day. I was in a store and I was just shooting the shit with the brother, and he was telling me how he came from, some place in New York. I don't know where it was. I want to say it was Flatbush or some shit like that. And we were talking about, back in the day and how shit was different. And anyway, I remember he made the point. He was like, yeah, he was like, nah, he's like, chicks you didn't get no play from chicks if you weren't in the streets. Like you had to be like, you had to, it has some clout about you, have some street shit about you, be linked up with, the gangs and shit like that in order for a chick to, take you seriously. And I'm like, we've been known this, you know what I mean? But he just said that shit as a matter of factly, you know what I mean? But then I come online and you'll have black women, like just denying the shit, acting like they're a bunch of fainting Victorian virgins. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, for real? For real? Even when you see these chicks, like you ever see like little skits where they do this shit and the dude's like, finish the sentence, bacon, egg, and, cheese, you know what I mean? Like, and they do this whole thing, like this whole New York thing, all the New York lingo and stuff like that. I'm like, who do you think those women are dealing with? They dealing with the drill music dudes. You know what I'm saying? That's what they're dealing with. They're dealing with the Chef G's. You know what I mean? They're dealing with the Sleepy Hollows. Like that's what they're dealing with. And black women gonna come online and all of a sudden that they're these sophisticated, elegant women who drink wine with their pinky finger out, and they know nothing of poverty. The only thing they know of poverty is how degenerate, dusty black men drag them into poverty, right? Even though, like, again, when we look at the numbers, or even when we look at the men that these women complain about, like when you look at the type of individuals they are, like they're only sleeping with like 20% of dudes. But then when that falls apart, or that relationship dissolves, or they get used and abused because this dude is desirable and he's got plenty of options and all the women want to fuck him, then it turns into how this can be applied to all of the other black men that they weren't fucking. That's another thing that kills me. How, like, if you read through the comments, all these women have every black woman has a horrible interaction with black men, right? Horrible interactions with black men, right? Even though, like, they don't realize they're all sharing pretty much that same 20% of dudes. They have all these horrible interactions, but nobody wants them because, colorism, right? Nobody wants them because they're not beautiful enough. These women have been in, I see comments from married women who've been married and then got divorced. I see comments, from women who have been with dudes for, what looks to be more than 2 years. You know what I mean? Like not like a, some, we were just messing around for 2 months. Like, no, like they look like, yeah, we were dating for years and shit like that. And I'm like, so chick, where were you not desired? Where were you not wanted? So I just feel like at this point, like everything black women say online, is just to absolve themselves of all guilt. They to me, they sound like white people. This is what white people do when you bring up, slavery and Jim Crow and the shit that still goes on, when you want to talk about, white supremacy and, how you got overt racism like the Klan, and then you got covert racism like microaggressions that you get at work and shit like that. Right. And I'm saying black women, they, they pretend like, they don't know what you're talking about. They pretend like they're just innocent in all this. They're just these coy, innocent, delicate flowers. And I'm saying we're their counterparts. So like we know them more than anybody knows them. But yet they're going to come on and pretend, like they're victims in all of this. Then you get the swirling talk. You get we're going over the fence and we're going to Brad and we're going to Chad. And again, going back to the same, like the shaming tactics to try to keep black men from dating out. I've said this before, the women that are talking that got all this either matriarchal or Afrocentric, mindsets. I'm like, you ain't built for Brad. You ain't built for, Fang Lao. You ain't built for Ahmed. You know what I'm saying? You ain't built for, Mr. Iglesias. Like, you ain't built for that shit. Okay, because you pride yourself on not only the Afrocentric, my melanin and black women are mighty and this, that, and the third, but you also, build your, base your whole identity on, being this, boss bae matriarchal woman. Like I saw this comment from Shay Sade that she posted of a white woman who responded to a black woman, and even the white woman called it out. She's like, you hate white women, but you love white men. You know what I mean? And I had to sit there and I had to think about that shit. That's another reason why I'm a fence straddler. You know what I mean? I have thought that many times when it comes to, dealing with, other races of women and whatnot. I'm like, yeah, deal with her. You may get along with her, but, you're going to be sitting right across from her brother who's a member of Stormfront, at the Thanksgiving dinner. Like, how's that going to work? Or maybe he won't even show up. You know what I'm saying? Like this goes back to what you heard me first time said a long time ago. You can't diss half the race. Like it does not work that way. And it's unfortunate how, even criticizing half the race is seen as dissing half the race. So like, it's like people want to act like, it's self-hate to sit there and say, hey, black women, you do this. This is a cultural and collective thing. And I don't like it. I used to say that to the women, years ago, whose sons are grown now. Their sons are probably passport bros. I remember getting cursed out. My son's not going to be self-hating like you, SWP. My son's not going to be self-hating. You know what I mean? Because I'm going to teach him right. And I'm like, you can teach him right all you want. And as I've said before, a lot of black women, they teach their sons responsibility devoid of leadership. And then when they go out there and they interact with other women and those women have understand what their roles and responsibilities are underneath patriarchy, those black boys, who have been taught, responsibility and, even chores, you know what I'm saying? They get around the other groups and they just operate the way that their mother taught them. And those women will be more appreciative. This goes back to the video I made about how black women are raising their sons to be with other races of women. And I've talked about this before with let's say black men and Hispanic women. A lot of Hispanic women feel unappreciated by Hispanic men, and a lot of black men feel unappreciated by black women. So when you get those two together, they're damn near inseparable because both of them are getting, aside from whatever their romantic or physical attraction are to each other, they're both getting, the satisfaction of feeling, appreciated. And as opposed to it just being, yeah, nigga, that's what you're supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? Or having, some Spanish dude say that to some Hispanic woman. But, I mean, what I'm saying? We've been had our problems with black women. Like we've been had it. It wasn't cool to speak on it. I mean, there was always a simp in the room. There was always a themis in the room. Anytime you said, man, I can't stand the way sisters do this shit. Why do they do that shit? I don't like that shit. And then you got the whole aspect of being a man. You're not real men don't complain about the problems that they have, right? So we just bottled it up and shit like that. And eventually brothers just got sick of it. It's like, how many times you say, hey, I'm sick of this shit. On top of the fact, I'm gonna tell you that I think the key difference is the fact that these women cannot guilt black men like what happened in the past when you would have men, like I told you, we talked about before. A lot of men played stepdaddy. A lot of men had, kids by, more than one woman, and, divorced one, married another. That shit went on, back in the 60s and the 70s, where, manufacturing was still there and a woman could easily, go and get the man on child support. But once the drug dealing came in the late 80s and the crack era and all that other stuff, hey, I remember when Captain Solo told me, his grandmother pointed this out. She was like, these girls don't make any sense to me. She was like, at least if a man is legitimate on paper, if you were going to play that I'm going to have a baby by a nigga and get, his money, off of the strength of child support, you at least get with a man who had a legitimate career. Because if you have a legitimate job, you can't dodge child support. But see, when you have women who are out here getting with men who are engaged in criminal and illegal activity, and then they're having those men's babies, that's a whole different story. You see what I'm saying? So, this generation, this younger generation of black men, especially those that know how to keep their nose clean, don't have any kids. Meanwhile, the women are out here having babies by that 20%. That you can't shame them into taking on the burden of that responsibility. You can't shame them into that. You know what I mean? Black women running around screaming at the top of their lungs about all these bastard children that the vast majority of black men did not create. It's unbelievable. And I think, one of the biggest problems with a lot of these conversations, that's why, if y'all ain't subscribed to freaking Media Man, y'all need to get subscribed to Media Man, because he is just coming with straight numbers. I mean, just straight numbers. And I haven't seen anybody else do it the way that he's doing it. And I mean, just dispelling, all of these myths. I mean, I think I listen to I listen to maybe 5 or 6 videos, and 1% of something that he said I had an issue with, you know what I mean? But the rest of it, spot on, and at the end of the day, when you crunch the numbers, man, black women have nowhere to go. They have nowhere to go on this front. But the thing is they want to believe in the myths. Like I've been on this, online for long enough now. And what I've noticed over the years is black women hang on to these myths. You know what I mean? These tropes that were created by white supremacy in order to just, make black men look bad. It goes back to that Jenks Morton clip where, what was it? Men to Boys, where he was asking, black women, what percentage of black men are with white women or dating outside the race? And one woman was on there. She said 80%, like it was nothing, just rolled off her tongue. He had another clip where he was asking, are there more black men in prison, or are there more black men in college? And there were more black men in college. And he broke it all the way down and talked about how, first off, trying to compare those two things directly is erroneous, because, college is typically only 4 years, where prison is, 18 until the day that you die, so 18 until you're 80, or 90 or whatever it is, so, he dispelled that. But, everybody just wanted to believe that there were more black men in jail than there were in college. Now, I don't know what the numbers are now, but I remember when he did the numbers back in, I think that was 2010, he broke that shit all. You can still find the clip on YouTube. The numbers that people throw up, they're just insane. There's not even that many people in prison for people to throw up the ideas that they have about how many black men are actively in prison. You know what I mean? You're talking, you like, less than 1% of the black population. But black women want to believe what they want to believe. And the part that gets me is like, it's like all of black men's negative stereotypes are just supposed to stick. They go unquestioned. Dr. T. Hassan Johnson has talked about this. I was listening to one of his videos, and I mean, I've thought this for a while, but I mean, he just said it right in the video. It's like anything negative about black men is just unquestioned. Like it just goes unquestioned. But when it comes to black women, it's like, oh, you're black woman bashing. Oh, that's not true. All these defense mechanisms come in. And I'm saying even dudes, because a lot of black men, they want to be the hero. They want to be chivalrous. They want to be the defenders. Then on top of that, you got like these simp ass dudes out here, like all of that. Right. So you can't say anything negative about black women without the pastor or the like a good chunk of the community jumping down your throat. But you say something about black men that's negative, it's like, yeah, that's right. Our brothers got to do better. And all this other bullshit. You know what I mean? This is why dudes are making a fucking exodus. In conjunction with, like I said before, black women who want matriarchy, they want role reversal, they want power, right? There's nothing that a black man can offer. Like even the complaints that originally were made, like I said before, they cannot be fixed. They cannot be fixed because the very position of a black man, being in a financially dominant position or whatnot, is oppressive to these women. At the end of the day, a gold or diamond encrusted gold passenger seat is still a passenger seat. If a woman has a problem with being in the passenger seat of a black man's, the discussion is over. The discussion is over. You don't want to play that role. Don't be over here talking about, him going out there and getting with some other race of woman. You don't want to play that role. And what black women do is they do all this finessing, online, where they want to file a complaint about, oh, black men are not playing this leadership role and they're not doing this and not doing that. But deep down inside, they don't really want a dude to be in that position. So then they avoid the dude. They dodge the dude. Then they get with the dusty dude. And the dusty dude gives them the convenient out because if the relationship falls apart, guess whose fault it is? The dusty dude. Because why? Because he was dusty. If she's running the relationship, guess what? She just so happens to be able to justify her leadership. Why? Because the dude is dusty. Like, it's so fucking convenient, and it creates this little cocoon where they can just perpetually complain about black men into infinity, in perpetuity, just forever. And there's nothing that you can do, about the situation. There are enough dusty dudes for them to go out there and point to. I mean, plain and simple. Or dudes that only become dust after they get, shot, killed, locked up, thrown in jail. Now he's dusty. But like I said before, when he was, breaking her off with money and shit like that, he was the shit. But then as soon as he gets caught up, jammed up or whatever and can no longer do that, now he ain't shit. And this is the whole thing. It's just, I don't know. Like, it just, I fight those demons constantly about just not wanting, like, not having any love for black women at all. If I don't want to use the word hate or whatever, because, I read y'all comments. I look at y'all comment, like the vast majority. Again, that comment I just posted has 100 likes. 100 likes of a woman talking about she just wants to have a girl and not have a boy. And I'm like, this is dumb. Like, this is dumb. Again, I don't know what the race of the guy that she was with, but it's like, okay, so if you're with a white guy, you're going to have a mixed kids. And I'm like, so you got a problem with biracial sons? You know what I mean? And if you get with a black guy, right, it's like, I would like to think that the black guy was good enough for you to decide to have a child with, right? And so you don't want to have a son that is a reflection of the quality of man that you got with. Like, I don't understand that. If he's a good man, why would you have a problem with having a black? I don't get that, right? Because he's going to be able to teach, and mentor his son appropriately, right? Since you can't do it as a woman, right? Like help me to understand, and what was the other thing about that? And then when it comes to the black women are not wanted, they're not desired, they're not this, they're not that, and black women have to face an uphill battle. Okay, so why would you want to bring a black girl into the world to have to deal with all of that you complain about, whether it's colorism or not enough good men out here or whatever? Like, why would you want her to go through that? And all this just, it goes back to this whole issue of black women, womanhood, a woman's personal identity and her womanhood being one and the same, or being separated. I should say separated, because for men, the argument was that men's manhood and identity are one and the same, where a woman, her individual identity and her womanhood are not one and the same. Right? This is the whole thesis coming from, the dark, feminist. But that being said, it's like, a black woman isn't a woman until she becomes a mother, even though she hates and despises men. So then she'll go out there and then have a baby, right? And do basically the same thing that Cynthia G did, go and have a baby with a motherfucker that already had multiple babies, which only reinforces what I said, right? Because Rob has multiple babies with multiple women. So again, going back to that 20% of dudes fathering, what was it, 69% of the women? I think it was 13% of dudes fathering like 69% of the black children in the black community. Something retarded. Again, if you want the numbers, go back over there on Media Man. I'm sure he'll give it to you, or, it's right there in, the videos that he's been posting. But what was I saying about the Cynthia G and choosing the guys? Oh, like I'm saying, if a woman wants to have a baby, like the easiest way to have a baby and not have to deal with a man is get with a dusty dude. Right? So like, these dudes are convenient, because honestly, if every black man was as disciplined as I am, y'all wouldn't be having any babies. And it doesn't, like, at this point, it doesn't need, like, that is like a steady pool that the women can always go to have babies and then file all the complaints that they have. I could be as disciplined and have as much discipline as I possibly want to. And if she wants to have a baby, she just gonna go over there and fuck with a dude that, doesn't care, probably of low intelligence, and then when she has the baby and then she's struggling, she'll say, and these black men. I'm like, bitch, I didn't fuck you. You came over to me talking about baby this, baby that, and I told you no. Like, I mean, obviously, I can talk about whatever my personal issues are with whether I'm ready or not to have a child. But I'm saying, if I recognize that you're crazy, that's another reason why I wouldn't have a child with you, because I recognize that you got some fucking issues. And I don't think that it's appropriate for you to be a parent when you got issues like that. You know what I mean? But like, these women, they go out there and have babies. You could have all the disciplined black men, all the black men, the high value men, whatever you want to call it, all those brothers saying, hey, you know what I mean? We're shutting it down because clearly y'all can't control your reproduction. This is why I wish every black man was on point. Because the only way to expose how fucked up these women are and the shit that they do is if black men as a collective were on their P's and Q's. Then you could really expose, the type of shit that they're on. It's just like, with the Asian community and Asian women dating outside the race. Like, nah, bitch, y'all motherfuckers are self-hating. Point blank, period. Because Asian women can't say, oh, well, the reason I had to get with a white guy is because the community is broken. With all the damn Chinatowns and Koreatowns, that are in every major metropolitan city in America, all the little Saigons and shit like that. It ain't because Asian men haven't built a community. No, it's because fucking Asian women are just on some self-hating shit. They see the media, they see white men, they represent wealth and status and all that other shit, and they've got to get themselves, a Brad and a Chad. That's all there is to it. So because we know it damn sure ain't because the Asian men haven't built a community. But some will argue, and I've argued this myself, that even some of the Asian men are self-hating because they also put white men on a pedestal as fathers. You know what I'm saying? Like, no black man, no blacks, only whites, right? They do that shit, and then the daughter comes home with a white guy, you know what I mean? And then, like I said, the Asian sons are the ones that suffer. Because his sister then went off and got with a white guy, reinforcing the shit, and the dad, he's happy, but it's like, Dad, what about me? Like, that's what I'm saying with the same thing with the women that are like, we're going to abort black boys and have black girls. Like, personally, I don't care, like, with the whole abort black boy, because to me, that's like DEFCON 3 at that point, because, like, you've already fucked up. You know what I'm saying? Like if it, like that's an idiot statement. It's just an idiot statement. You know what I mean? People that are talking like that shouldn't have any children at all, let alone try to be selective about the gender so that the black community can have a further exacerbation of what China did freaking in the 70s with their one child policy. It's just dumb. It's just dumb. It's the type of shit that just makes me not want to deal with the community. You know what I mean? Like, it's just we're so far gone. And the women their total lack of accountability. I mean, just total lack of accountability. And they still see. I want black women to go over the fence. I want all of them to go over the fence, because that's the only way. And I'm not talking about all black women, because the ones that can and the ones that got some sense, they're doing their thing. They're being normal with it, and they fall in love and they like this guy and they work together and they kick it off. They hit it off. That's fine. You know what I mean? But these other women, these other like women, I'm going over here because I've had such a terrible experience with black men and da 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 da. You know what I mean? Like, they don't have what it takes. They don't have the discipline. I mean, just right off top, the black women being overweight, not wanting to work out. They're going to hear the same complaints that many of us have been making. Because black men are the most accepting when it comes to women being, all different shapes and sizes and shit like that. And so if we're saying you're too fat, bitch, you're too damn fat. Plain and simple. But, they want to go off and be delusional and all that other shit. I'm like, y'all need to go. Y'all need to go because, it's the only way that y'all gonna learn. Because y'all think that you got, being loyal and, we know our worth and we know what's out there. Go. Okay, you know what's out there. Go. Please go. Go. It's like what Cap's uncle used to say. He was like, nah. He's like, anytime black woman gets to talking like that, nah, take her out to Amish country. You know what I'm saying? Take her out to Amish country, drop her ass off with the Mennonites and the Amish and shit like that, and come back in 1 month. That shit'll straighten her ass out. You know what I mean? He used to say that shit like, the Cap used to get a kick out of that. But no, it's true. It's true because, all that, the grass is greener on the other side and everything else like that. And I'm like, and fundamentally, at its core, these women can't deal with, they can't deal with patriarchy. They can't deal with male leadership. They want you to believe, oh, we can deal with white male leadership. Bullshit. Can't deal with the shit. They got their fucked up beliefs. And that's another thing, like when they're talking about like, oh, and we're underneath black men's spell. I'm like, black men have been underneath the spell of the fucking matriarchy. Like, and that's another thing, like this whole like solipsism, this whole like everything revolves around the black one. It's always revolved around them. It's like, when has it not revolved around them? You know what I mean? Like I said, 1 minute, it's like they swear up and down that they're oppressed at the same time that they're kicking ass and, ain't nobody on their level. I can't find a man on my level. But yet, black girls have been ignored and we need programs like Black Girl Magic and shit like that. Right? But you can't find anybody on your level, right? And then they argue, oh, well, that's just because black men are just, they're just dust. Okay, so why do you want to be with them? Why do you care where they go? I have a problem with with looking at black women as a collective group, right? I try to fight it and look at them as individuals, but it's like damn near impossible. But it's like I struggle with looking them as a group, like this group of women I'm supposed to, that are my counterpart. I'm supposed to love and cherish and kiss on the mouth and all this other shit. And this is how I'm saying this is how they've been felt. This is the shit this is the shit that created me. This is the shit that brought me online, feeling some type of way and just voicing my opinions, not knowing, what it was. You know what I mean? Just all the shit, all the fucking crap we heard in the 90s and fucking Ricky Lake and Sally Jessica Raphael and fucking Queen Latifah and all this other bullshit. And, why are you single? It's because niggas ain't shit. I mean, that shit just rolled off the tongue like it was nothing. And now these women are acting like, oh, we were just so loyal and we supported the black man. And then we just came online one day and we heard this guy named Sergeant Williepete and he was just saying horrible things about us. Like, bullshit. I mean, stop the motherfucking cap. Bullshit. Bullshit. Y'all were out here just singing your high praises. Oh, we just killing it. Oh, we this, we that. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, just you all couldn't take any criticism. And these same women in the 90s clearly, because these women that I'm seeing in the comment section, they got to be in their like early 20s. Like you're repeating the same shit. It ain't nothing fucking new about what you're saying. Nothing new. And your daddy that wasn't there, for those of you who are like in your early 20s, your daddy who wasn't there in the 90s, let me tell you something. Like, these women knew who these guys were. Don't let them tell you that they didn't know who they were. You know what I'm saying? You can go back and you can pull up the videos. You can pull up freaking Tupac spitting at the freaking camera. You can pull up, DMX. What? Where my dogs at? Arr, arr, arr. These bitches knew who these motherfuckers were, but they were sexy. You know what I'm saying? Go watch fucking, Mobb Deep, Shook Ones. Watch the video. That's what was sexy. You know what I'm saying? Go watch freaking, what was the name of that song? Method Man. Damn, I can't think of what the damn song is. You know what I'm saying? What song was it? The shit with the guitar. Fuck, I can't think of what it was. Was it In Belly? I think it was. The shit, he hop out the Jeep and he trying to holler at the girl. That's what women love, that shit. You couldn't, I'm telling you, if you look like you were Ghostface Killer, bitches was on you. They couldn't get enough of you. You know what I mean? If you had an Avrix jacket and a Coogee sweater, like nigga, and some Timbs, what? You know what I mean? I mean, this rolled all the way into the fucking early 2000s and fucking Nelly with the headband and the do-rag, that, niggas had waves, but they never took the do-rag off. The oversized jerseys, the baggy pants, like the women were creaming over that shit. I mean, go back, go look at 2003 with the fucking 50 Cent up there, and this man went up there, accepted an award at the whatever it was, whatever the Grammys, whatever it was, and had a jersey on. I mean, this is what was in. These women was eating that shit up, and they had babies by these dudes, and those were your daddy. That's who your daddy is, and now they gonna come up online. And now they going, oh, these niggas is dusty. Oh, these niggas, niggas being niggas. We're victims. Bitch, fuck you. Fuck you. I mean, it's so exhausting reading these fucking comments. Acting like, oh, these niggas, they put a spell on me. I wasn't accountable for any of this. And here's a crazy thing, right? It's amazing how dudes can put spells on all these women, right? But you can't tell a black woman anything. You can't get her to follow. You can't get her to listen. You can't get her to cooperate. But all these women were digmatized, and because these men, whispered a bunch of sweet nothings in their ear, and it just psychologically affected them and blinded them that they put themselves in a compromised position. He told me that we were gonna, be, on a boat, on a yacht in the French Riviera. I'm like, I highly doubt that he told you that shit. And even if he did tell you that shit, looking at the dude and what he clearly didn't have going on, you had to be an idiot to believe that shit. And bottom line, man, most of these women are just mad because their shit didn't work out, man. They're bitter because their shit didn't work out. I could see if all these women went out here and they got with a bunch of lames and a bunch of Steve Urkels and shit like that, dudes working at Google and Apple and Poindexters and stuff like. I could see that. You know what I mean? But that's not what these women were dealing with. Again, 50% of these men don't have any damn kids. I can't listen to these fucking lies anymore. We've been at this for too damn long. It's already been exposed. Again, go back and listen to that cat foo video. In all matriarchies, the woman gives him his kingship. You know what I mean? The bitch up there talking about two captains on a ship. Talking about I had the first say so and the last say so. I mean, like what more evidence do you want? And these women will still get up online and talk the same tired fucking talking points over and over again. And black men just won't do. And black men just done this. And black men ain't that. And yada, yada, yada. And that's why black women and these black men out here, they just don't take care of their kids. And same tired bullshit. I take pride in not having kids. I take pride in that shit. And I really shouldn't. You know what I mean? But I take pride in it because the way that black women try to, they would just assume some shit about you or assume you got kids that you don't take care of and everything. I'm like, bitch, I ain't got no kids. You know what I mean? And then I love when their face changes. See, you got to be a black man to do this. But when you sit there and you talk to a black woman and she thinks she got you backed into a corner like you just ain't some no good nigga and shit like that, and then you go and she's got kids. And she's like, why don't you got kids? Because I'm not married yet. Man, they don't want to have the conversation after that. They do not want to continue the conversation with you. Again, these women know what the appropriate and right things to do are. They just don't want to do it. And that woman sat right up there on We Need to Talk and literally said that. We know better. We just don't do better. But we know. But fuck it. We're not doing that. We out here having fun. These women up here pretending like, they wanted to get married ever since they were 19. Like, fuck out of here. Please stop the cap. To me, it's just draining. It's mentally exhausting to sit here and listen to these women sit up here and lie. And the more frustrating thing is the fact that these women are always and forever constantly given a platform. You know what I mean? And the thing is like, unlike men, women are a lot more prone to bond over their problems. And you'll have women that don't even have the same problems, but because they want to get in on the bonding experience, they'll just adopt the sentiments of the room. You know what I mean? And I've seen so many women literally talk themselves out of a fucking relationship, even talk themselves out of a marriage, sitting around to a bunch of bitter bitches that they may have problems, but this chick doesn't have the same problem with her man and her relationship, and she will fuck it all up. fuck it all up. I mean, it's. Mm. I mean, you got to read the comments, y'all. It's just victim. It's just victim. It's the same thing with this Madison Brooks bullshit. You know what I mean? All these white women making these videos about Madison Brooks. The commentary, like how I gave commentary. I'm like, oh, and these four men and they accosted her. It's just so terrible and this, that, and third. I'm like, I thought the bitch was blackout drunk. I thought she was comatose. Again, according to the blood alcohol level, the blood alcohol concentration, right? I'm like, this bitch is on film dancing with the 17-year-old in the fucking bar, right? Then she's supposed to be blackout drunk. She's on film running across the street chasing after the group. Then she's on film, right? Because again, she was supposed to be blackout drunk, right? Can't run, but here she is running. Then she's in the car, right? On film, right? Having full command of the vehicle, berating the white boy because he didn't want to get on her pootie tang, right? Then she says to the man to the right of her, let me out the car. And he obliges immediately. He complies immediately and gets up to let her out the vehicle before the video was cut. I'm like, where's the rape and pillage? Where's the rape and pillage? Where's the she was passed out drunk? And it's like this. I guess like this is just what women do. But these are the reasons why you have misogyny and men hating women from a legitimate standpoint. This is why they don't like women like that. Because it's like you're dealing with a child, like a grown freaking child that you can't. They're an adult, but you can't hold them accountable. You can't blame them. You can't this and there. And then again, they don't even believe in fucking patriarchy. But then they'll sit there and then try to slam you with patriarchal standards. It's just so sad that a real man would try to blame a woman. Like what? I'm like, weren't you just talking about gender equality 5 minutes ago? Now all of a sudden, it's just so sad that a man is to blame a woman. It's just so sad. That's a sign of weakness. Now all of a sudden, they're trying to hold me to the very patriarchal standards and concepts that she didn't believe 5 minutes ago. Yeah, I totally believe in a man being fully accountable for a woman when he's in total absolute control, of, her movements and what she does and can and cannot do. Yeah, that makes total sense because she has hypo agency and he has hyper agency. It makes sense that he should be fully accountable for her well-being and anything, any dealings with her. But what women want to do is they want to pretend like they have hypo agency in a world where they've advocated for hyper agency, right? And even if you want to say that it's a situation of, equal agency, again, they still want to act like when it comes to accountability that they have hypo agency. And this is one of the reasons why men don't respect women. Because women don't take accountability for their actions and their decisions, despite the fact that they're running around, advocating and arguing and piss shitting and farting and kicking over church benches for the right to do so. It's just insane, man. And I'm so tired. If I sound exhausted, I am exhausted. I'm tired of seeing this shit. Like the brother said in that comment, it's like, Cynthia G, it's like, you up here advocating for women to abort black babies. Why don't you advocate for them to choose better dudes? Why don't you advocate for that shit? As opposed to them going out here and getting, I wish all these women complaining, especially the single moms, I wish I could take all of their baby dad and just sit them up on the stand. You know how many women would be like, I don't want my baby daddy up on the, why not? Yeah, because you're going to look crazy when we pull this, freaking, one-eyed pirate, out the back and put him up on the stand. It's like, oh, this is what you were getting with. You know what I mean? It's like a dude being ashamed of a, some unattractive woman that he was having a one-night stand with and everything. Like, Like, oh, this is what you know. See, that's not my girl, man. You know what I'm saying? I was just smashing. I was just no, that wasn't like, but this is your girl though, or this is what you were fucking with. No, that's not what I fuck with regularly though. You know what I'm saying? That was just a one nighter, and that's what these women are like. You know what I mean? They want to act like they're all these sophisticated, elegant women and all this other shit. And when you go back and you look at that baby daddy, it's like, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. Here this woman, she comes off like Aisha K. Faines, but then when you look at the baby daddy, you know what I mean? You sitting there, he looking like Method Man from Copland. You like, wait a minute, what? Half cornrows, half afro out. Like, you like, this nigga look crazy, got a dead eye. This nigga look crazy as fuck. This is what you were fucking with? Oh, well, he said some sweet nothings in my ear, and, I had to bust it wide open for him with no condom on, though? With no condom on? Like, I don't know how you value black women in all of this. Like, I don't know, like, where they get this, like, this intrinsic value, this respect. Like, where do you get this shit from? Especially with all the damn lying and all the manipulate. Like, you gotta admit, like, women can manipulate way more than men can. Because women manipulate with shame, and like it's like the whole of society is on women's side. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, the society does not want to hold women accountable for shit. They're always damsels in distress. It's always, it's like a perfect example is, notice all these women, they get caught up having sex with minors. You know what I'm saying? Like, it literally has to be that blatant before a woman is held accountable. It literally has to be be that blatant before people are like, well, I'll be damned. But any other time, like, no, it's you manipulated her. She was a sweet, innocent flower. And to sit there and pretend like women don't capitalize on that, like, nah, yo, fuck out of here. But anyway, I'm already at almost an hour. I'm about to, my biological clock ticks and it's like, you've been talking for an hour, and I look down, and usually it's like right about 55 minutes or so. Right when I look down, but I'm trying to be as nice as I can be in this video, but you all can go over there and you can read the comments yourself. I mean, just the complete and utter lack of accountability. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not trying to be accountable for dudes that freaking women chose and shit. Like, I'm not. You know what I mean? Like, any woman coming through being like, oh, rape and pillage. I'm like, ain't no rape and pillage. You know what I'm saying? I treated you with respect. Did I ever call you out of your name? No. I take pride in that shit. Even if I'm with a woman and it doesn't work out and everything else, none of them can say that I mistreated them. You know what I mean? I mean, just total bullshit. Oh, he mistreated bullshit. I don't mistreat anyone. Because first off, I don't like drama. I don't like to fight. I don't like any of that shit. The woman's supposed to be, this soothing, comforting, thing. Like that's what she's supposed to be to me. You know what I mean? Like, I should like you out there battling the world as a black man and shit. Like, I'm supposed to come back to her and be like, oh man, let's just lay in the bed and spoon. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what it's supposed to be. I'm not getting in a relationship or being involved with a woman so we can bump heads and bump guns and argue and fight. I'm not doing that. Why? Why would I do that? You know what I mean? Like, first off, even being in a relationship for me as somebody who likes to go to the gym as religiously as I do, you know what I mean? That shit cuts into my gym time. You ever work out and then you're like, yeah, when are you coming over? When I finish this workout, I'm doing squats today. And you sit there and you do squats and shit like that. And then you go over and then, she's like, I need you to tear this up, right? You'll be dying by the end of the night. Like, you have no energy left. Like, Yeah, that is the worst shit. Yo, nigga, you thought you was alpha. You thought you were gonna go to the gym and lift these 300 pounds and then jump in the bed and then beat the cheeks. You thought you were gonna do that shit. Like, oh nah, hell nah. You don't got the energy. God forbid you try to do bench press and then you come in there and you're doing missionary. You can barely hold yourself up. Shit is fucked up. But like it just, and here's another thing. Like this is another key thing because I had to do this one time, and honestly, I resented it. I resented the fact that I had to do that. That like, because a lot of black women, they come online, they talk real crazy, they talk all this shit, and it's like they're bitter. They're just bitter. They're giving off bitter energy, bitter vibes. Got all this attitude and everything else. Like this is just how they come off, right? And there's all this like, you gotta prove yourself to me, right? You gotta take her out of that mean spirited evil place, right? And what's so weird is like this is always after they've been burned so many times by Pookie. Right? This is when they've been burned so many times by the other guy that got it off with the strength of nothing. Now you got to come in there as a square and prove yourself, right? And one of the things that I can't stand about it is that whole aspect of coming into it from a negative place. Like y'all really don't know how that feels, as a black woman. You know what I mean? Like maybe you do. I'm gonna take that back. Maybe you do. Because I do think that there's some brothers that take their issues with sisters, they take the shit overboard, right? But that's pretty much how it feels. It's just like you're walking into this space with this person that has this negative perspective of you, and maybe you like them, you got feelings for them, or you're attracted to them, or whatever. You know what I mean? But it's always like just some negative shit, and after a while, you just get tired of it. That's the best way I can explain it. You just get tired of it. You're like, I'm not proving myself to another black woman. I'm not doing it. She's considering it fucking vetting, but like when they're all like that because they've all been running around fucking the same 20 dude, the 20% of dudes, and then you come into this space and then she's got all this guard up and everything else. It's like, why I got to deal with all this shit? Why do I get all the smoke? How come the motherfucker you was fucking with that got you all bitter and twisted, why didn't he get the smoke? Why do I gotta get the smoke? Like that shit is irritating as fuck. Chicks got all type of just bitterness issues, and you gotta move past that. And then once you get past that, then it's like, now they're in a happy place, right? But then the fucked up part is, like, you're just trying to get to know the person and everything. But then you have to like now you're like locked in and shit. Cause now she's in a happy place. You discuss things and everything. And now if you, decide for whatever reason it doesn't work and you walk away, you're the bad guy. Now you're creating another situation. Because now she's, like, it's like you can't get to know anybody from just a healthy position, and say, hey, it's, whatever, it's not working out. Maybe it's mutually beneficial or something like that. Like, you got to get to know a person and determine whether you're compatible or not just based off of, oh, they're attractive. Oh, let me get on it. Like, no, like, are you compatible? You know what I mean? Are they a morning person and you're a night person? You stay up late. They're a morning. Like, what is it? Like, what are the things? What are their interests? Shit like that. But you can't even organically do that anymore. It's all like, nigga, are you wasting my time? I don't feel like dealing with that shit. You just don't. You don't. Even though, like, part of you is like, yeah, this is like, it's like, this is what she should be doing, but without the bitterness. Like, you can vet without the bitterness. All you're doing is highlighting the fact that you've been damaged by some other dude that is nothing like me, which I already come into that situation feeling some type of way about. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, who is this nice person that he got to meet that I haven't met yet? Who's this person? Who's this person that just simply walked into your house with no doors and shit like that? Now all of a sudden, like, I gotta like stand outside the moat with the sharks and the alligators in it. Hear ye, for you to drop the drawbridges and shit. Then I gotta go up the tower, fight the dragon, and then defeat the wizard, and then finally, we can sit down and have a civil discussion. Like, fuck all of that. Fuck all of that. You know what I mean? And then you'll be out somewhere, you know, and you'll be chilling. Oh, there's Madison Brooks at the bar. Hi, what's up? Oh my God, I like your shirt. You know what I mean? Like just some bullshit sparks conversation, and you wary of the bitch. You like, oh, this fucking random ass white girl. Like what does she want? You know what I mean? She's all nice and shit, not hitting you with some stupid shit. I mean, this is how the shit goes down. Hopefully it doesn't turn into a Madison Brooks situation, but I'm just saying, like, that's what the shit is like. You got to make up for all the dusty niggas that she chose because, she was, digmatized, again, as I like to call bumma niggatosis. Black women suffer from bumma niggatosis. She was moved by, his charisma, his riz. And now, because that didn't work, now you got to suffer the consequences. She's sitting there with her arms folded, with a mean mugging and shit. Like, that shit is so exhausting. But anyway, I done said enough. I mean, I'm fucking dragging this video out. I'm disgusted. I'm really disgusted by these fucking comments. It's not just the comments. It's just everything. The always wanting to believe something negative. Like I'm like, I don't get it. I'm like, do y'all even like us? What is the deal? Like, at least if a black man is colorist, he don't like you, he don't want to deal with you, he is the fuck out, he's over the fence. End of discussion. You know what I mean? But y'all, like, it's like you want us to be in a relationship with you from this compromised position. And I can't tell whether it's like y'all want us to be in a compromised position so that you can get your matriarchal shit going on. You know what I mean? Like you want us to, like get us in a state of mind where we basically feel bad about being a black man, to where we feel that we owe you, and then we're bending over backwards and you're getting everything that you want out the relationship, but we get nothing because there's no reciprocity, because, you feel that, as Jay-Z said, your presence is charity, or you feel like I know my worth. You know what I mean? So that's what we walk into. No, we don't want to deal with that shit. We do not want to deal with that shit. And it's just that's just what this shit feels like. It just feels, I'm like, you all don't like us, especially the guys that fall into the EL category. Y'all don't. Y'all not moved. So why is it y'all come online and y'all so pressed when dudes are like discussing hopping the fence, going elsewhere? Why are you so pressed? Oh, it's because y'all bashing black. Well, it's gonna sound like bashing because they got issues with y'all. They don't have issues with other groups of women. They have issues with y'all. They like, stop. There's no matriarchy in the Philippines to speak of. There's no belief system like that. So yeah, it's gonna look like bashing when they're like, damn, why are sisters doing this? Why are sisters doing that? You're our female counterpart. All the complicated shit that you got to go through to be in an interracial relationship and hop the fence and everything else like that. Most people would rather eat at home. But nah, you can. It's like you can't do that. You just can't. The bitterness and everything. I'm not, entering relationships like from this deficit. Like, I feel like I owe a black woman from go. From the jump. It's like, what did I do to you? Coming with all this, Alice Walker, the color purple type shit, all this bell hooks type shit. Anyway, that's all I got to say. That's my video. SWP out. Don't forget to comment, share, like, and subscribe.